Did you know that you can make a very tasty and delicious oha soup using the dry oha leaves? With one other ingredient I used that made it extremely delicious. Keep watching. Over here are most of the ingredients I will be using for this recipe. I have my dry oha leaves, which I just took out from the freezer, which is also the subject matter for this recipe. Some dry uziza leaves, also from the freezer. Now for my protein, I will be using cow foot, shaki, chicken. It's been half roasted. I have my mackerel fish. You guys know I can't cook soup without mackerel fish. I also have my dry fish here. Now to season the soup, we are going to be adding some dry uziza seeds, ogiri igbo, scotch bonnet peppers, and seasoning cubes. I'll be adding palm oil to the soup as well, which is also very important. In place of palm oil, you can use palm nut concentrate, but I prefer the soup made with palm oil. I'll be adding salt as well, my crayfish, and that one other ingredient will be coming in later. Now let's start cooking. In a big enough pot, I've just added the cow foot. Now here comes the shaki, which is also known as tripe. In goes the chicken. I'm going to be adding some salt to that. Just add salt according to your taste. And I'll be adding some scotch bonnet peppers to that, but before that I'll be blending it with my food processor. I just added a tiny bit of water and I'm going to go ahead and blend. After blending, I'll pour that into my pot. I'll be adding 4 seasoning cubes to that. Depending on the quantity of meat you're cooking, you might want to add more or less of the seasoning cubes. Add a little bit of water, cover the pot and allow the meat to cook until it's about 50% done. While the meat is cooking, now is the right time to start prepping the rest of your ingredients if they are not prepped already. So I'm going to peel and cut my yam, and I'll be adding it into the boiling meat as well so it can cook together with the meat. So far, if you're enjoying this video, please, I want you to click the like button, share this video, and follow me for more recipes, more amazing, yummy, delicious meals that you don't want to miss out. Okay, so after peeling and cutting the yam, I throw them in the water and I'll be rinsing it with that water and add to my pot. You don't necessarily have to cut the yam into these tiny pieces, but I did this because I'll be using a small blender to blend it. But if you're using a bigger blender, then you don't necessarily have to cut it into tiny pieces just like I did. Now in another bowl of water, I've just added some salt to that, and here is the dry uziza leaves, which I'm going to cut into pieces basically. Now after cutting or shredding the leaves, I'm going to add into the salty water and I'm going to let that sit for about 10 minutes or until I'm ready to add it into the pot so that it can absorb some of the water and open up a bit. Over to the pot. The yam is cooked and I'm going to take it out of the pot and I'll be adding more water to the pot as well, just about 3 cups of water. You can add more or less depending on the quantity of soup you are making, but I would advise you add water little by little. As you are cooking, you might want to add more water because if you add everything at once, you might end up with a watery soup that might not be tasty at all. So I advise you add little by little. So now I'm blending the yam. I'm going to blend into a smooth paste. And oh, don't forget to add water before you start blending the yam. And who else remembers our new blender? Guys, this is actually my first time using this blender ever since I bought it. And if you haven't seen the video yet, please check out the video. And back to the pot again, I'm going to be adding the mackerel fish. This is the right time to add it. The meat has been cooking for, I think at this point it's been cooking for like 80%. So I just added the mackerel fish, the dried fish, and now I'm adding my oziza seeds, which I showed you guys earlier when I was introducing my ingredients. And now I'm adding the ogiri igbo. Guys, you definitely need this in your oha soup. Like, you can't afford to miss it out. Okay, don't skip this ogiri, whether you like the smell or not. You need it for this local soup. I've added extra 1 cube because the soup needed it. Okay, but if yours doesn't need it, then you don't have to add extra cube. Taste and add more salt if you need to. I added more water and I added some of the palm oil, covered the pot and allowed that to cook for additional 10 minutes. Then I came back and took out the fish because I don't want the fish to scatter in the pot. And then I added a little bit more of the palm oil because I thought I needed to add more. I added some crayfish, which is 2 tablespoons of crayfish. And lastly, I went in with the blended yam. Guys, in place of cocoyam, do you know you can use yam to thicken your oha soup? You can even use quaker oats, plain flour, like you can even use cornstarch. But guys, try this yam as your thickener. I think this is the, not even I think, I know that this is the best instead of cocoyam. Just try it out. There is this delicious taste it gives to the soup. I want you guys to try it out if you haven't tried it before. And if you've tried it before, please leave a comment in the comment section and tell us how it tastes, because I couldn't get over the taste. We were eating it and we were just shouting everyone in my house. My kids frowned at the soup and the semo, but as soon as they tasted it, they were like, yummy, delicious, tasty. Okay, back to the soup. As you can see, I've already gone ahead to add the oziza leaves. Guys, you need oziza seeds and oziza leaves for oha soup. The results are not the same when you use only one of it, either the seeds or the leaves. You need both in this soup. Okay, I've also added the oha leaves and I let it simmer for about 1 to 2 minutes at most, because you don't want to overcook the vegetables, right? So after about 2 minutes later, I came back, checked on the soup, and it was ready. Look at that color, guys. It was so delicious. Now you can serve and enjoy with your favorite swallow. We had it with poundo yam fufu. So good, guys. Let me know if you're going to be trying out the soup, and if you do, please come and tell me how it went down low. Bye, guys.